Welcome to a galaxy far, far away. Here at the Cantina podcast, we provide top shelf service, including rumors, leaks, news, and reviews. Come in, order a Loman Ale, and remember, no droids allowed. New to me. Anyways,
getting back to it.
Yeah, trying to get back into it. What am I getting back into, ladies and gentlemen? The Daily Cup of Genre on the Genreverse podcast network. What you're watching and listening to right now, not Daily Cog, the Cantina on that network. Sponsored by Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. Thank you guys for joining us today. It's a bit of a different show because usually when it's just two of us, it's Cam and I. But today I've got Shockey on board and Cam slacking off somewhere on the beaches of Naboo or some crap. I don't know what. Wait, no. What you call it? Last Jedi, that island where the Jedi Temple was.
Oh, Octo?
That's where Cam's at, because it was filmed there in those islands around where he's
somewhere
from. Anyways, guys, I think I said I've moved my mic arm to my right instead of way up in front, and I keep hitting it, so maybe I should move it this way. Thank you guys for joining us today, and Star Wars stuff. Not a whole lot, but a little bit.
Not a whole lot of everything.
I know. We got a little bit of clarification on some like timeline and seasons from for Andor. A while ago, we had heard that they had wanted something like 5 seasons, right? Mm-hmm. And now we're getting Tony Gilroy writer for the show. Or was he the showrunner or writer? Gilroy's the writer.
Right? Yeah. Well, showrunner, writer. He was supposed to.
Okay, both.
I think what he was supposed to direct all the episodes, but then there was an issue with COVID, and he couldn't get to England in time and stuff with all the restrictions. So then they had to share the responsibilities of directing and stuff, so then that kind of
got it.
But yeah,
he had mentioned a few weeks ago that there was going to be 2 seasons, and that the second season would lead up right to Rogue One, basically, where we meet, not necessarily the frame where we meet him, but in the time frame and person that Andor is in Rogue One. Season 2 would take us to there, and I think now, given this recent comment, we kind of know where the 5 seasons thing may have spawned from. He says directors work in blocks of 3 episodes. So we did 4 blocks in season 1 of 3 episodes each. That shooting schedule organically led to season 2's different structure. We looked and said, wow, it'd be really interesting if we come back and we use each block to represent a year instead of season. To represent a year. We'll move a year closer with each block. From a narrative point of view, it's really exciting to be able to work on something where you do a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then jump a year. So boom, there you go. It looks like, and I'm not saying necessarily that there was going to be 1 year each for 5 seasons, or that somebody heard 5 years and took that at 5 years in story and took that as 5 seasons. Regardless, that seems to be connected a bit. I am kind of concerned though how 3 episode year blocks would work, man. What do you think about this, Shockey? You wrote this one up, right?
Yeah. So I'm in the opposite. I think it's a smart move. I don't see that there's like enough material there to do 5 seasons.
Oh, I didn't think either.
Yeah, like let's even say there's 6 episodes, seasons, if you want to do it that way. There's not enough material there for Diego Luna and that character. You would have to like spawn a whole new creation of Star Wars characters,
something, the rebellion or something like that.
And it makes more sense. Watching the Clone Wars for all those years, or that was basically, the template, that Dave Filoni's used for the Mandalorian, 3 episode arcs, or in that style for so long. And so I think it's smart. I think I think the reason why so many people thought it was going to be 5 seasons was that it was announced that it was taking place 5 years prior to Rogue One. So you figure, okay, it's going to lead up, and it was like, it's going to take 5 years prior to Rogue One. It's going to go all the way up to the events of Rogue One. Oh, so 5 years, 5 seasons. But there's just not enough there, I don't think, personally. I mean,
enough to keep us interested in someone we know that's going to die?
Yeah.
No. Enough stuff in that realm of rebels, spies, subverting the Empire? Yeah, there's plenty of stuff.
Right.
Hopefully we never hear it, because I'm tired of spending time between episodes 3 and 4. But anyways.
Yeah, and you're limited on how many characters you can use. You can't. You might get an appearance of Darth Vader for a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be the main character, the main villain. Like that is just, there's not enough there to expand this on for 5 seasons, 12 episodes per season, telling that much of a story. I think people would basically we'd be excited for the first season, maybe the second season, and then
kind of tune it out
till the very end of it. But like you said, we know the ending, so it's not like we're sitting there wondering what's going to happen to Andor. Poor Cassian, is he going to make it out of this whole rebellion thing or not? So
yeah, where was he in the sequel trilogy? Oh wait,
oh yeah, exactly. He wasn't part of that fleet of ships coming to save Poe and all those guys.
No
Resistance.
No, sure wasn't. Him and his U-wing were not part of it. The whole hardest thing about playing in the era that they have been for Kenobi and going into Andor, although Andor has a hell of a lot more breathing room as far as Star Wars canon, not for the main character, but for the canon, it's got a hell of a lot more breathing room to play with. I mean, you can start thinking of will we get an Operation Valkyrie style plot, where they're trying to assassinate the Emperor. Valkyrie, for those that don't know, was an assassination attempt on Adolf Hitler in World War II. So I'm interested in what they could do, but like you said, you can only make the stakes so high.
Right.
You can introduce it. It would almost like Stranger Things, where seasons in the past. I won't give any spoilers for this year, but you think of like Sean Astin's character, you think of the Russian turncoat in season 3. They have a habit of the characters that aren't part of the main cast usually being the ones that die off.
Right.
And Andor would probably suffer the same, because like Mon Mothma, she'll live. Princess Leia, if you show Agent or even Senator Organa Leia, she's gonna live. You know what I'm saying? And
yep.
So I really hope we just get a whole bunch of really good spy missions, really putting more of like the tension of how things are done more than whether or not they get done.
Right.
Because we know where this is going.
Yeah, I would be really happy if it was just more like James Bond style, filming, like storytelling, where it's we see Cassian and it's all about the next mission, trying to, and not necessarily like we get these secondary characters, but they don't mean really much. They kind of help him get to his goal, and then then the following year, all right, here's your next mission. All right, here's your next mission. Yeah. It's kind of, that's the Daniel Craig James Bond storytelling style. If we get that, I'm happy with that. If they try to include a bunch of characters that somehow all of a sudden now mean some sort of importance to the rebellion and stuff like that, it's not going to work, man. It is also too, it's weird because with Star Wars Rebels, we have a little bit of overlap there with the beginning of the rebellion. So there's like some characters that in pivotal positions, like getting Mon Mothma to her leadership role has already been done. Like we already know that story. So
yep,
it's like a big sandbox, and when it started out, everyone got to play in it, and it was so much fun. And now the sand's starting to run out, and you're running out of room to play. And so.
I mean, I keep telling Lucasfilm whenever they call me, because they call me every other week, right? No,
right.
1,000 years in either direction, past or present.
Yeah.
Pick one and go.
I think this is it.
1,000
I think
years.
this is the besides the animated shows like Bad Batch and like Tales of the Jedi and stuff that are coming out, I think live action, this is pretty much it. Like, this is going to be the last major
unless we get some Kenobi season 2, but that would more likely be focused on Kenobi.
Yeah,
if it
I
happened.
think the rumor I'm hearing is that everybody was satisfied with the ending. You can't beat that ending between Vader and Kenobi, so why even bother going for a season 2? It just kind of all takes care of itself. So
I would have thought we wouldn't need it at all, but you guys can check out our reviews for Obi-Wan Kenobi here on the Genreverse Podcast Network. Why don't we, since it's a little bit light on news, why don't we go ahead and take our ad break, come back, and we'll talk about a funny story, and then Mike will tell us a little bit about a book he's going to read or might be reading. Anyways, Grow Generation.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. Grow Generation offers the best deals and discounts on the best grow products on the market. Grow Generation serves customers across the nation and carries a wide inventory of renowned cultivation brands. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
No worries, I can do it for you.
Okay, well, if you want, sure.
Yeah, no worries, I'll put it up for you. It's so light on news. I have nothing. Like when thank God the Clerks 3 trailer dropped and you did a reaction. So because I was just gonna post the trailer itself.
Oh, just the trailer, yeah. Hey guys, welcome back. We're chatting shop during the ad break. Thank you, Grow Generation, for sponsoring the episode. Clerks 3 actually looks really funny, guys. I did a reaction here on the channel. You guys can check it out. But the funny story, talking about the past, nostalgia stuff, between episodes 3 and 4, well, stuff related to the prequel at least. Taika Waititi's got the next Star Wars movie in the shoot that it seems, even though we're not likely to get it in 23 even, maybe summer. Maybe. But we'll or winter maybe, but we'll see. He apparently forgot someone was in Star Wars and made an offer of sorts to Natalie Portman for his movie. And Shockey, do you have the piece up to read out of? I can read it if you don't already have it up. Natalie said to me, this is Taika talking to Rolling Stone, what do you do next? He explained, and I said, I'm trying to work on a Star Wars thing. Have you ever wanted to be in a Star Wars movie? She said, I've been in Star Wars movies. And he goes, I forgot about those ones, and laughed. Absolutely hilarious kind of moment. I think a lot of people assume that people are more plugged into the movies post-release than they are making them in Hollywood, and that's really something that even I, years and years and years ago, had like trouble wrapping my. How do you do all these movies? Like Gwyneth Paltrow, she's dense when it comes to the MCU. Doesn't know jack. She knows a few talking points for PR from Iron Man movies, and that's it. And it could be shocking to some people to learn just how little they know. But that's pretty funny, man. I mean, what would you do? Would you put her in your Taika? Do you put her in like alien, makeup or something that?
I would throw her in as a stormtrooper, or like whatever the stormtrooper version he's gonna have as is, and just have it as a little like kind of Easter egg of it, or
that'd be pretty funny.
Or her like in the background, something like that. I'd just be like, come in for a day, we'll get you suited up real quick, maybe 2 hours tops. You're in one little scene just for giggles, and he's got that type of like attitude and and camaraderie with everyone that I think it would go well. I think everybody would enjoy it. But that little excerpt right there reminded me so much of the SNL skit when she was on back in like 2018. She did the Natalie's rap and stuff, and she's being interviewed, and the guy's like, hey, have you seen the new Star Wars movies? She's like, no. He goes, oh, they're so much better than and not to say the prequels, and then she goes into her little rap and shoots him and stuff.
Man, absolutely hilarious. not to dig into Marvel's world too much, but here we are talking about Taika and Natalie because she's in the next Thor movie. You know, there was an issue with the prequels, and one of the issues was definitely Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen's chemistry, or lack of chemistry, and again in the Thor movies, like she and Hemsworth are not that great on screen together, and I really like the first Thor movie. It uses a lot of J. Michael Straczynski's story beats, and I'm worried about that movie. I'm worried about Thor: Love and Thunder because again we're putting these two on screen and they really haven't done great together in the past, but maybe because of the uncomfortableness of their breakup, maybe that'll make the in the universe will make the movies better. I don't know. We'll see. I hope they find some funny way to put her in there. What about casting Keira Knightley instead and put her in a more prominent role? Because that would be a good funny thing, you know.
Who was it? I forgot who was the YouTuber. So I don't know if you read any of the Vader comics. How like one of the storylines is Vader goes to Naboo, and goes into the tomb and stuff of seeing Padme and everything. But then, boom! Here comes Padme's hand. You know the clone, like the girl that looked exactly like her,
or whatever,
and stuff. And somebody was like, "Man, that would be kind of interesting if you redid that." You know, since you got Hayden Christensen. Get Keira Knightley, you know, and do a little copy that story because it was kind of interesting. You know,
was that story where they were like, "How is Padme back?" But it was the
handmaiden.
Yeah.
It takes place after Revenge of the Sith and everything, you know. So I mean, and it's Vader, you know, but it's just that would be, or just have like. Those two in Taika's film just kind of walk by each other and give them like the look, you know, and just don't even say anything, just like in the middle of a scene, you know, just do that little look at each other, like, just something for us to laugh at.
Meta humor has to be taken very, very carefully in Star Wars, but yeah, they could do something. Anyways, man, so speaking of canon and how messy things can get, we weren't even talking about that. It's a horrible segue. You were reading, or have you actually started it?
The book? First 50 pages of it.
Okay, so Shadows of the Sith is a new book. That's who's the author on that one?
That's a great question. I'm horrible with names and stuff like that.
So am I. I got a brain injury to excuse it though.
Yeah,
Adam Christopher just came out June 28th. Anyone that wants to check it out, tell us a bit about it and why you're reading it, man.
So it takes place in between Force Awakens and it will go up to like Rise of Skywalker ish, or Last Jedi ish, if you put it that way. So in between Force Awakens and Last Jedi, and the story is basically the premise of Lando Calrissian's daughter gets kidnapped. He goes on the hunt looking for her. He can't find her. At the same time, Luke is doing his it's the aftermath of Kylo Ren, and he's kind of trying to find like where his plot is, I guess, or you know, for rebuilding the Jedi Temple and stuff. They end up getting together and realizing that there's a bigger evil at hand, and so that's basically where I've gotten to. Is, you know, Lando and Luke are, you know, kind of put together, but ultimately all of the other stuff that we hear about in Rise of Skywalker, the Sith, you know, forming back up together, the Sith assassin, the blade, the mysterious blade, and stuff like that, all comes, you know, into the storyline. So everyone I've read that has, or all the reviews I've seen and read about, basically say that if you read this book, it makes Rise of Skywalker better, or at least you have a better understanding of it. So I'm giving it a whirl just for giggles, I guess, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, one, it's funny how for there being no source material, how much EU stuff Star Wars does want to borrow these days. Not to mention the Essential Legends collection, but because I think of Shadows of the Empire when I hear this title, and then they used Dawn of the Jedi or Heir to the Jedi instead of Heir to the Empire for an early new canon novel that they released. And oh god, come on guys, find some originality. And that's not necessarily the authors. They got a writing room and story groups and all sorts of stuff these days. It would be great to not need all of this supplemental material for the sequels. And or it would have been great for back in the Road 2 days, Road 2 Force Awakens and Road 2 Last Jedi, if they had done what they said they would do with those books and actually fill in the freaking gaps. But yeah. I honestly think Disney had their eye on things like streaming and TV series, and we're like, we don't want to fill in too many gaps because we might want to tell it in a movie or so. And that is what has made, from what I've read, so many of the books completely uninteresting because there's never any stakes. Nothing happens, no matter what, because everything is explaining stuff from the sequel trilogy these days, or set back in OT days, and you already know who the results of that.
Yeah, the only area that has gotten some kind of traction to it is High Republic,
and even that's still low compared to old EU books.
Yeah, and I think the reason why is because they went, in my personal opinion, they went a little too hard, too fast with High Republic. They released way too much at one time. And I get it. It was this whole hey, it was almost like doing Shadows of the Empire. Remember the campaign for that? How crazy that was. That was almost book, comic books,
book,
games,
merchandise,
a soundtrack, yeah. So I think they kind of took that idea and put it with High Republic, but it just flooded the market way too fast. There was too many comic books to keep up with. There was the adult books, the young adult books, the children's books, and there's been a lot of good that's coming from it, but yeah, to make it where it's at the status of what the Legends books were, they got to slow it down. I think they're starting to now. It's gotten, the High Republic has slowed down its release so that people can read and keep up with everything that's going on. It's not everybody can just sit around and read books left and right. I wish it could, but
oh man, back in my days in the Army, I believe it or not, I read more when I was in the Army than I do these days. Because 24-hour duty, like CQ staff duty, you're sitting there for 24 hours, and not always were you allowed to have TVs and stuff like that. So read a book. Deployments, a lot of downtime on the travels to and from. Yeah, I miss reading more than I do these days.
Yeah. I mean, it's just with the Shadows of the Sith, I think this is basically Disney's kind of answer to saying, all right, we messed up with Rise of Skywalker. We left a lot on the table. Let's just fill in the blanks. I don't think I think it's one of those things for hey, if you really want to read as Star Wars fans, or here's the answers, and there you go. This is what's going to happen. And but I don't think it's on the level of Heir to the Empire, any of the Thrawn books.
Yeah.
Shadows of the Empire, anything like that. Not putting it on that level yet.
No Rogue Squadron. They're sad attempt. Alphabet Squadron. I mean, but let's admit, when you write in your book that all Luke Skywalker did was pull the trigger, and it was Jyn Erso that destroyed the Death Star. Come on, Star Wars, really? Okay,
I mean, it's all in perspective.
Well, no, because that was just a dig. That was a personal dig in the book. It wasn't even about perspective. Yeah. It was that was I don't want to call it activism because that's not the word. That's like a buzzword. It's just personal stuff in there. All allegedly, we'll say allegedly, a lot of the stuff that comes out of the writer's room and on the novel side, allegedly, it tends to be very, very anti-Luke Skywalker for some reason. Take that for what you guys will. But I miss having continuing stories, and I'm while I don't want to necessarily see much sequels stuff based stuff now, I would be curious if they're ever going to allow books with consequence after even if you do, like I said, 1,000 years after. But man, what do you think they're gonna do anything with the sequel characters outside of movies or shows anytime soon, or do you think they're so scared they'll miss out on an opportunity that they just won't ever touch it with the books?
Well, see,
of consequence.
It's kind of like what I'm thinking. What's going on, or my thought about this is that you don't want to touch these characters right now because there's a possibility you could probably get them to come back for a movie or something. It's kind of what you did for the OT characters, bringing them back for the sequel trilogies.
Right.
Is if we don't do anything, if we don't kill off Rey, Finn, or Poe, in anything post sequel trilogy, then let's say 8 to 10 years down the road, we want to do another trilogy, and bring these characters back. That's still the doors open there. Yeah. I mean, that's just what I would think was going on, or how I would run it. But
I know, but you could still, you don't have to create a story that's going to kill off one of those big three, Rey, Finn, or Poe, but you could sure as hell create a novel, a story arc, 2 or 3 books that carry them into at least some story. Something that you can explain, and you don't even have to worry about it in the movies. You don't have to worry about covering everything. You sure as hell didn't worry about it beforehand, but you could actually, it's all canon now, so you write a consequential story that has consequences later on down the road, and you just put those consequences, the results of them, in whatever future project. But right now, I feel like they're just wasting away.
This was before Rogue Squadron was announced, but I always thought it would be good to have a Poe movie or at least storyline of him with the next group of starfighters, and there's always going to be some sort of type of villain that you can pull up in the universe and stuff, but just go down that road, kind of like what they did with Cobb Vanth and stuff, just kind of make him the sheriff of an area and stuff, and teach, or I don't know if I would do like a Rogue Squadron or Top Gun type storyline-ish or whatever, but something that route, definitely I think you have potential with Poe. With Finn, I think that's going to be split. I think there's the way he was treated, especially in Rise of Skywalker. I think a lot of people were disappointed that he didn't end up becoming a Jedi, or at least being acknowledged being Force sensitive. It was only just teased that route and stuff.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to be very careful with Finn's character, not necessarily to please an audience, but just there's so many different expectations of that character. Because I mean, the first poster we see of the sequel trilogy with The Force Awakens, Finn's holding the lightsaber, so you see this guy is holding the lightsaber, and then it went downhill from there with this character, and really not really used that much.
Way to go, Johnson. Ryan.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of get why they send him off why Ryan Johnson sent him off to do a different mission. Didn't understand the mission at all.
Mission was stupid.
But it was kind of that, kind of like what you saw in Stranger Things season 4, where you have to break the group up and everyone has to go do their own little, mission. Yeah. I got that part, just not well executed. And then Rise of Skywalker, he was just basically non-existent. It was this weird awkwardness that he wanted to tell Rey that he loved her, or he wanted to say something to her and never did. That never got, or like some people thought, that he wanted to say that he was Force sensitive too, and it just
teach me.
teach me the ways of the Force. And so I don't know.
Shouldas, wouldas, and couldas, or whatever the saying goes. All I can hope for is some enjoyable Star Wars content. I am finishing up the audiobook of Rogue Squadron, Wedge's Gamble, and then I've got the next book, Krytos Trap, comes out in August, and I'll be listening to that because it's kind of interesting doing audiobooks with a production, soundtrack and sound effects, and the guy's not just reading, he does voice work for all the different characters and stuff, so it's been pretty fun. Anyways, guys, anything else to put out there, Mike, before I start wrapping up?
A little tidbit here. So
sure.
It's not major news or anything like that, but if you follow Katie Sackhoff on Instagram, she posted a video over, was it Monday now, of how she couldn't make it to was it Fan Expo? I think it was for an appearance because she had to stay. Her schedule required her to film for a little bit longer, and so it basically missed out on it. A lot of people have been, reporting that it's extra shooting for Mando season 3, season 3 and stuff. But at the same time, too, from what I've heard and stuff, is that there are extras, what is it called? Reshots or whatever it is.
Reshoots, yeah.
Reshoots going on for Mando season 3, but also that she will be in in a scene or scenes. I can't remember what my friend was telling me. For Ahsoka as well. Not much, but yeah. And so it's kind of, a lot of people were like, oh, reshoots for Mando season 3 and stuff are going on. That's been going on. Yeah, that's normal and stuff like that. But the other thing too is that Ahsoka's filming right now in LA and doing the whole volume thing. So they're using time wisely, having her there at the entire time and stuff. So
makes sense. All right, cool. Well, guys, you can find all of the stories that we like to cover and you like to read about on lrmonline.com. Go there every day for all of your entertainment news, needs, and opinions, written articles, interviews, video, podcasts, the whole 9. Everything is there. All of our podcasts go up on whatever app you want to use to listen to podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Google, all of those. Daily Cup of Genre, we do daily news and whatever the hell Manny and I want to talk about. Anime Versal Reviews is doing Classroom of the Elite season 2 this summer until Chainsaw Man, and then hopefully we'll be doing both. And then Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, does weekly news roundup. Usually has a movie or series review that they'll do as well. You're watching the Cantina, you can see what we do here. We'll be reviewing Andor when that kicks off in August. Yeah. Yep. And then Marvel Multiverse Mayhem is the Marvel version of this. So yeah, we're doing Miss Marvel right now and news and stuff in between. And all of those go up on the YouTube channel. If you're watching us on there, thank you so much. Please hit the red subscribe button. We've been growing and appreciate each and every one of you. And in addition to all those podcasts, I also do the Genre Shot trailer reactions and just did Clerks 3 today. So check all those out. Shockey, you want to talk about people joining us?
Yeah, if you got an opinion on some of the stuff we've been talking about, or you just want to voice your opinion and get it out there to a large audience, then contact one of us, Kyle or myself, and we can get you on there. You can either join one of our podcasts, you can write. We're really looking for writers right now. It's but anything and everything. It's one of the more unique websites out there where we really are hands-free when it comes to writing or voicing opinions. We don't have much when it comes to restraints on what you can and cannot write about. So yeah, just if you feel like you have something to say or you want your opinion out there, and we've got a large enough audience that you can get it out there and be heard, let us know.
There you go. All right, guys. All of the social media information is down below. Link to our Discord also in the description box below. Thanks, and may the force be with you.